thinking about it. And good afternoon, everybody. We are live. Welcome to the latest edition of the Renny Show. Hello, Jenny. It's lovely to see you on this grey and mizzly afternoon.
Good. I was going to say good morning, but it is afternoon, isn't it? And it's been different. Yes, it is a bit grey, but it's not grey in here.
No, never.
We are full of colour and
we are
vibrant.
actually literally. Look
at
us.
Yeah, look.
Colourful
and
outfits.
Look, we've got similar kind of patterns on. How funny. So yes, it is. We are gloriously colourful and full of excitement things. So that's good.
Yes, it's a good day. Those of you who, well, whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've tuned in many times before, the news is that Jenny now lives much closer in the country to where I live, which is awesome. I'm so excited. And we've just planned our first in-person strategy day about the Renny Show, which is super, super exciting. So, stay tuned, folks, because there's lots of exciting things coming and lots of plans that we have. Watch this space. Welcome to our latest episode, live and unedited. As always, we're going to talk about anything from socks to self-belief, and it could go anywhere, and it probably will. But as is our wont, if you've listened before, you'll know that quite often our questions seem to segue beautifully into each other's questions, even though we don't discuss the questions beforehand. So, let's make a start and see where today goes. So, Jenny, my first question for you, what are you looking forward to in what's left of this year, final part of this year? Can be anything, life, business, anything at all.
Oh, that is a really good question. So I love, once I have accepted that the summer is over,
yes,
I love December.
Yeah.
I love Advent. I love the whole Christmassy thing, and I'm really enjoying the opportunity to play in my new house and make it all Christmassy. So I'm very excited about that. So I'm really looking forward to Christmas. I also have an event on the 2nd of December where I'm speaking. Called Succeed. So I'm very much looking forward to that because it is an in-person event. It will be fabulous. There are other fabulous speakers, and also in the evening because it's the last one of its kind. It will be. This is the last opportunity for it. It won't happen anymore. So there is a special DJing party in the evening. So very proper vinyl, or old school DJ. So I'm very excited about that.
So dancing shoes on then?
Dancing shoes. Well, my dancing shoes tend to not stay on very long because I take them off. But yes. So lots of exciting things to look forward to. I'm also very much look forward to our strategy day because, as you said, Rach, we have lots of things planned. One of the things we're planning is the Renny Road Show, Renny Show Road on the Road next summer. So I'm putting it out there now because obviously we're going to be planning it at the beginning of December. So we are looking for funky cafe, small venues where we can do the Renny Show live. It will be a ticketed event. We're looking for accessible venues. We're looking for people who want to, who are really committed to in-person connection and positive relationships from a business and a personal perspective. So we're putting that out there now. So if you think, if you know of a venue that you immediately think, oh, be perfect, we've got a short list.
We have, yes.
But we'd like a longer list. So if you have any ideas for venues where we should travel to bring you the Renny Show live, then please get in touch and let us know.
Absolutely. Very, very exciting. Lots of things happening. I've got lots of things I'm looking forward to this for the rest of this year as well. Obviously, our strategy day, which is just going to be amazing. I'm quite busy. I've got lots of things going on. I'm doing a free 5-day challenge next week for the first time ever no idea really what to expect because it's my first time, but I thought I would try something a bit different and new. You know, it's always good to try new things, isn't it? And then on the 24th of the month, I've got a very special launch coming up for a collaboration event that I'm doing. Massive shout out to Emma Bunn of Natural Aspect Photography, who I'm collaborating with. And then I have to add in a personal one. We're actually, I think, mid-December, we're making use of a Christmas present from last year to go to the Paddington experience in London, which I'm really excited about because who doesn't love Paddington Bear? And we get marmalade sandwiches and everything. So I'm really, really excited about that. And of course, seeing London at Christmas time as well, that will be lovely, you know, because it will be beautifully decorated. And it means that I get to have my special pilgrimage to Fortnum and Mason's to buy some Christmas pickle, which I always love to do if I get a chance. So, yeah, lots to look forward to.
That's brilliant. Can I tell you a story? So when as you know, people might remember, I've been clearing out my parents' house and we have a Paddington, or my mum had a Paddington. I think it belonged to my sister originally. We have an old, Paddington Bear with his duffel coat and his hat and the thing, but his wellies were missing. And I said to my sister, I said, what happened to his wellies? And she said, don't you remember? She said, when Philip, my eldest son, was little, we were at my mum's house, his grandparents, and it was raining and he wanted to go out and play and we didn't have any wellies. And so we borrowed Paddington's wellies for Philip. And obviously he never returned them. So I thought it was a hilarious story. So Paddington is welliless in our house because Philip borrowed them and failed to return them. He obviously got a lot of wear out of them until he grew out of them. So there you go. So that's a small unrelated Paddington story.
Oh, poor Paddington. I hope his feet are warm somehow, some other way. I'm sure.
Well, I have to buy him a new pair of wellies, won't I? I'm sure maybe somebody would like to donate me a Paddington-sized pair of small wellies. I'm sure there'll be some somewhere. Anyway, I shall have to look.
Yes.
On some site or other. So my question for you is also kind of related to childhood. So when I was little, we were always told that you had to keep your wishes a secret.
Yes.
And the fabulous Jojo Smith, if you don't follow her, I would highly recommend. Jojo has made part of her career out of wishing out loud, because she says, if you don't wish out loud, how can you make your wishes come true? So my question, Rach, is if you had one wish, what would you wish out loud for?
Oh, now that's a really interesting one because, I've absolutely been brought up with when you make a wish, you do it quietly to yourself and you don't tell anyone. Otherwise, it's just not going to come true, which when you think about it, I mean, the origins of it might be kind of nice, but equally, it's kind of sad to be under the threat of your wish not coming true if you don't share it. So I've never thought about this before, but I quite like the idea of sharing the wishes out loud because, absolutely, when we share things with loved ones, share things with the universe, they have generally a bit more of a tendency to happen. So I think it's actually quite a nice idea. What would my one wish be that I would share out loud? Do you know, I'm not actually sure what I'd wish for. What would I wish for? I mean, I could be really crass and come out and say, I'm going to wish for world peace. That's a little perhaps unrealistic and a bit too big. But I think my wish would be that my girls grow up feeling that they can achieve whatever they set their mind to. Because we were having a really interesting discussion. My eldest daughter is at sixth form now and is doing sociology, which is something I also studied at GCSE and found fascinating. Likewise, she's finding it fascinating. And we were talking about social mobility and she had some stats. I mean, I know what they say about statistics. You know, there's lies, and statistics. You know, you can make stats say anything you want, can't you? But the general theme of the statistics that was that in social mobility terms, there's a huge percentage of people who end up as doctors, barristers, very senior military officers, you know, lots of careers like that have been privately educated rather than state educated. And I've always believed that what you can achieve shouldn't be connected to whether you paid to go to school or not. You know, I totally respect the fact that many people choose to privately educate their children, but I also believe strongly that shouldn't hold people back. And you know, I don't want my children to feel that they are held back from pursuing the things that they want to do if that thing is what they're committed to and what they feel will bring joy and purpose, and you know, all the things you would want your children to have in their chosen path in life. So yeah, instilling in them my wish is to instill in them the belief that they can do whatever they set their mind to. You know, even if it is something that's really difficult and really challenging, you know, the will to still go ahead and try, I think that's priceless. So yeah.
And I think that one of the wonderful things I've learned about wishing out loud is that, of course, lots of when you wish out loud, there are people who can help you achieve your wish, which of course, if you've kept it to yourself, they would never know that was your wish, and therefore how can they help? So it was a life-changing kind of real light bulb moment for me about wishing out loud. And I wondered how many people who listen to the show who were also brought up in that era of when you make a wish, you keep it quiet. So there you go.
Very interesting. So what would your wish be?
Oh, I'm always reminded of those. I'm always reminded of those with, you know, there's 3 wishes in fairy tales, and they were always really silly, weren't they? And so my wish is the same wish that I've had for a year, and that is to be on the Good Morning sofa or on daytime television. I would like to be the mother-in-law on daytime television. That is my wish. And
that gives me goosebumps.
And the first time I said it out loud, I said it in a really quiet voice because I wasn't sure I was actually allowed to say it out loud. And the more I've said it, and amazingly, lots of people have said, this is how you do it. This is what you want. So absolutely, wishing out loud. And I think you said, don't be frightened of making big wishes. I think big wishes, really outrageous big wishes. There's nothing wrong with big outrageous wishes, are there? Dream big, wish loud. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, that whole thing of shoot for the moon, and even if you fall short, you'll land among the stars. You know, that's a great way of looking at things. Love it. Okay, so my second question, I mean, you could, I guess it's fairly topical in a number of ways, but you could relate this to a number of different scenarios, but it's kind of topical with various things going on in the news as well. So I'm interested in your perspective. What do you think is a very common mistake that leaders make? And I know there could be all sorts, but I'm interested in, you know, the most common.
Oh, there are many, aren't there? There are many. I have worked with leaders for a long time.
Yeah.
And I have said very publicly, and probably more than once, actually a lot more than once, that I am really bored of leaders making the same old mistakes, and I'd like them to stop making old mistakes and make some new ones. So the old mistakes that I would like them to stop making is the dreaded kind of micromanagement that demonstrates for me that they have not found confidence or comfort in their own leadership style.
Yes.
So leaders who are threatened by the people who, often fabulous people, who they inherit when they come into whatever leadership role that is. And it frustrates me beyond belief. I can't tell you how frustrated it makes me feel when they announce to the world that they aren't micromanaging. If you have to announce it, I think you need to think again. And instead of taking the time and the effort to get to know the people in their team and how they work, they immediately launch into that thing about I'm going to tell you how I think it should be done, even though I've had very little time to understand what you're doing and how you do it and why you do it the way you do. And we don't have it as an equal conversation. What we do is that I tell you how I think it should be done from my perspective, although I am new into the role. Drives me utterly mad. And the frequency, I have come across it in the last month on at least 4 separate occasions by completely separate, different genres of, of leadership, different settings, everything different. The one thing that's common is that micromanaging nonsense. And if we could swear on this program, I would absolutely swear it now, but I appreciate that we don't do that. But it absolutely, I would die on this hill. Just stop it, stop doing it. And and the thing is that it demonstrates for me a real lack of self-awareness, because
very much.
So many people say that, so many leaders, aspiring leaders, old leaders who should know better, leaders, it isn't leadership. It isn't leadership. If you have to imprint your way of being on your team, you are missing a trick. Most good leadership is about understanding and recognizing the fabulous array of talents and skills and experience that you have already doing their thing when you come into that role. As a leader who is comfortable in their leadership style, you will be able to recognize and nurture and celebrate all of the variety that you have in your team and make the best use of it. When you do this micromanaging nonsense and you try and tell everybody how you want it done, and there's a very one-dimensional lens that is shone on the whatever it is that you're doing, not only will you suffer personally, but also it destroys your team, and it happens really, really quickly, doesn't it? Like that. The trust is broken, the team disintegrates, and people withdraw, and all that you have is negativity. And then there's the outcome is that people either leave and or kind of step back. They stop.
And they won't be as productive.
They won't be as anything.
No.
Because they are being squashed into a box that they don't fit in. And it's a box that has been erroneously designed by a leader who ain't no leader.
No,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And mine would, I very much agree with that. Micromanagement is horrendous. The other thing I'd draw in is treating people like mushrooms and keeping them in the dark. That style of leadership where people aren't being brought along with the vision because they're not told what that vision is, or they're not told about some of the strategic stuff that's going to affect them, and just expected to get on with it. And that feeling, and I've been there, I've been managed in this way, and it felt horrendous because we didn't feel empowered in the slightest. We didn't feel trusted, which comes back to exactly what you've said about the micromanagement. And we had no idea of what the vision was, that the direction we were supposed to be pulling in together. And well, if you don't know what that direction is, how on earth can you all pull in that same direction? So yeah, I think whilst there are many mistakes that leaders make, I think the two we've highlighted are unfortunately particularly common. The micromanagement and the keeping people in the dark are sadly still quite prevalent, which, yeah, bit of a worry, really, isn't it?
It is worrying when there is so much positive and freely available support and advice about leadership.
Yes.
On all social media platforms, there is so much information, and we've talked a lot about that self-awareness, the gift that keeps on giving, and there is nothing like the power of self-awareness to understand the impact that you have on other people, what it's like to be on the other side of you. And so many leaders, I use that word loosely in an inverted commas, are completely unaware of the impact that they have on others, and it's a relatively easy fix.
Yeah,
a good coach, leaders. Just saying.
Same page again, Renny. Same page.
Not surprisingly. So my question is of a bit of a tangent.
Okay.
So my next question for you is, as you know, we love a guest on our podcast. So it's kind of, I suppose it's linked. It was linked to the wishes in that we have very strict criteria, don't we, for our guests?
Yeah.
They have to be, and we stick to this, you have to be inspiring, you have to be brilliant, and you have to be making a positive impact, change for good in the world. Those are our three criteria, and we're very strict about that. So my question, Rach, is obviously with the new year coming up, who inspires you, and who would you love to have as a guest on the show?
Well,
you can have more than one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first person I'm going to say, and I'm sure this won't come as a surprise because I know that you've seen my post about it. But the priest who delivered the sermon at the remembrance service we went to on Sunday was so inspiring. My whole family, we all came away saying how inspired we'd felt, and that his perspective that he brought to that sermon. I think a lot of remembrance services can be very similar because we're there for a very specific purpose, and we're remembering and honouring the fallen that have gone before, and hopefully educating our children and that to not repeat the mistakes of the past, and those things are really, really important. And particularly speaking as a veteran, very much still part of an RAF family because my husband still serves, my brother served, my grandparents served, there's a real history there, and the tradition of remembrance is really important. But the perspective that this particular priest brought was incredible. So, he very early on in the service mentioned, he's a self-confessed immigrant from Turkey, and he talked about, and if anyone wants to hear more about this, I've posted about it on all my social media if you want to hear more. But he the perspective that he brought as someone that came to this country, didn't know about the history, the very proud history of the British people and the British Armed Forces and what has been achieved in World War I and World War II and many other conflicts. He didn't really know about any of that. And obviously he has his own experiences of quite horrendous oppression in where he's from. So he has a particular perspective on what oppression is like. And then because he was studying here for his priesthood, he studied here and in America, he chose to learn about what that history is and why it's so significant and important to us. And I just found that really, really moving that he made a choice to educate himself about that and to be ordained into the Church of England, into Christianity. Born a Muslim, albeit he admits he was perhaps an agnostic Muslim when he was growing up, but nevertheless born into the Muslim faith. And so to now be a priest in the Christian Church of England, to bring that very unique perspective to a Remembrance Day service was really quite something else, because he talked about how he had sought shelter under the banner of the George Cross, effectively, which is a banner of freedom, but some would consider a banner of oppression. But yet to him, it was a really beautiful representation of a banner of freedom and hope and safety, which, that hearing that perspective spoken so eloquently was just, it was really, really inspiring. So he's absolutely one of my top picks to have as a guest on the show, because he really was very inspirational. I felt, I'm feeling quite emotional now just talking about it,
And I think that we've had lots of interesting guests, haven't we?
Yes.
Previously, and I know I'm really excited. I hope we get him to agree to come along. And I think one of the things that the Renny Show aspires to with their guests, as well as our very three specific criteria, is a whole range of diverse people, perspectives, stories, experiences. And so I guess it's another opportunity to say to our listeners, is there somebody, this is a wish out loud, isn't it, as well?
Absolutely.
So 2 for 1. Is there somebody that you, as a listener, would love us to ask to appear on the show? We would love your thoughts on who you would like us to have a conversation with. There are so many people. We have a long list, but we would love you to be involved, and who you would, give us some examples of who you find inspiring and brilliant, and who, in your experience, are making really positive changes in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can find both of us all over social media. So send us a message on who you would like to see, and we will see what we can cook up. Fabulous. Right. So my last question, I believe, for you today, Jenny, a bit more lighthearted, perhaps, but do you still try and spend time outside at this time of year, bearing in mind it's got a bit more grey and wet, well, very wet lately, and a bit colder and not quite as nice? So do you still try and spend time outside?
I do, largely, I have to admit, because I have grandchildren.
Yes.
Excuse me. I have grandchildren who like to be outside regardless of the weather. I do draw the line. If it's actually physically raining, then I would probably avoid it. But I do enjoy being outside if it is, if it's not actually physically raining. So I don't mind it being a bit grey and damp. I do like, and I love, there's nothing better, is there, than a cold, crisp kind of day. So I'm hoping that's one of my wishes out loud, weather.
Come on, listen up.
Yes, I would like some kind of cold, fresh outside days, because I think it's one of the advantages that we have in this country, isn't it? We have lots of walks. Where I have just moved to, I'm quite near Sherwood Forest and lots of national parks. So I love the idea of wandering around. I do quite also like going to. I'm a member of the National Trust.
Yes.
So I like going to have a wander, even if I don't want to go in the house necessarily. They often have nice walks, don't they, around different properties. So I do like to make the most of, even if I have to drive first.
Yeah.
Even if I have to drive first and then go outside. I do love, there is something very special about going outside. And I love that kind of autumny smell. It's a bit smoky, when people are a bit smoky. It's a great place to be outside. You can't beat it. And it gives me the opportunity. They always say, don't they, there's not the wrong kind of weather, there's just the wrong kind of clothes.
Yes.
So it's an opportunity, as you know, I love a scarf. So it's an opportunity to put my big coat on, my woolly hat, and off I go.
Awesome. Yeah, I had a bit of an ulterior motive about asking this one, because I've realised that since breaking my ankle and being in the kind of the rehab phase now, I haven't spent as much time outside as I would like. And I don't detest going out in the rain. I'd rather not, quite frankly, if there's a choice. But I haven't been getting out very much and doing much walking, which I always feel better if I've been for a walk, and I haven't been doing it. So this is my accountability, putting out to you, to the listeners, to the universe, to say that I am going to be getting out there a bit more and spending time outside at this time of year, because it can be such a lovely time of year. I know a lot of the leaves are now falling off the trees. We've got a wonderful tree outside at the bottom of our drive. All the leaves have just fallen off it. They were beautiful and they're not there anymore. But some of the colours that are around at this time of year are just lovely. So this is my promise to get out and spend a bit more time outside, going for walks, because it's good for mind, body and soul. So
I think also it's a good opportunity to say it's really important to stay safe, because obviously your accident was a completely random slip off a pathway. So it's important to stay as safe as you can, and make sure that you've got the right footwear. I'm rubbish at things like that. I often find myself thinking, oh, probably shouldn't have worn these trainers. I need boots on. So staying safe is quite an important thing, isn't it? Yes. Nordic walking poles. I think I'm getting to the stage of my life where Nordic walking poles. I think I might investigate them further. So who knows? So if you're walking, stay safe, guys.
We stay safe out there.
I just say guys, I don't mean that. I mean people, everybody. Stay safe wherever you're walking, and let us know if you've got any particular places that you love at this time of year.
Give us some inspiration.
Absolutely. Cool. So my last question is, I have had again recently more involvement with getting in touch with customer services than I would maybe like. So my question to you is about, what is the best customer experience that you have had when you have had to get in touch with somebody about something that maybe hasn't gone as well as you had anticipated?
Oh, that's an interesting one. what was it that happened the other day? I can remember sending an email back to someone to say, thank you very much, that was great customer service. I can't even remember what it was for now. That's terrible, isn't it? But yeah, so that was good. But yeah, I think one of the things these days is that with all the really big companies, not to name drop, but, because there are many available, but things like Amazon, like behemoth size organizations where you can't seem to get in touch with anybody. You can't actually speak to a human being, or that sort of thing. And I actually had quite a good experience with LinkedIn. I don't know if this affected you recently, but all the lots of information disappeared from my profile, and it happened to quite a lot of people. No idea why, to be honest. But one of the things that disappeared was all of the recommendations. Well, that's, it certainly made me realize how important, keeping hold of what information you have on your social profiles. It is important to keep hold of that information perhaps somewhere else, because in the blink of an eye, it's gone. And you can't foresee that it's going to happen, and it can be quite damaging in terms of your, the social proof about the services that you offer. If that disappears, what people can't find. Well, how do I know they're any good at what they do? The testimonials have disappeared. I was actually quite pleasantly surprised that once I didn't find it easy at first to work out how to try and make some kind of complaint or request for help. So LinkedIn, if you're listening, an improved process for how to get in touch, or just to make it easier for people and more obvious on the platform, would be good. But what I was quite pleasantly surprised about is that I received a proper response relatively quickly, which does fly in the face of what I've heard from other people on that platform previously. And the problem was resolved quite quickly. Now, whether that was realistically to do with my request for help, that's another thing, because it happened to lots of people. Shout out for Pam Case, LinkedIn expert, who was brilliant at trying to keep us all informed about what was going on. And, she gave me the information of how to download everything from my LinkedIn profile so that I don't lose it again, which has been brilliant. So obviously it did affect a lot of people. So I'm not naive enough to think that my request for help was the one that tipped the balance. But I did feel like it was a good example of a large organization that's a bit faceless, that did actually provide some good customer service. So yeah, certainly from my point of view anyway.
And I think it's so important, isn't it, that we as customers feel that we can get in touch with somebody, and it's always or nearly always when you can actually speak to a human. It does make a difference.
It's so much better, because you actually feel heard, don't you, if you get the chance to speak to a human being.
I did have and it's many, I think many many big companies are outsourcing their customer service to other countries. And I had an experience recently, which was very funny, where it was a young person who had answered my call, and I was explaining that I needed to return some items. It was a pair of shoes I had bought in London when I was in London, and the processes were the shoe was put behind the till. I then went, I think that's fine. Neither myself or the person on the till checked, and so when I got them home, although the make was correct, the box was correct, that what was inside them was the wrong size, the wrong style, bore no resemblance to anything that I had bought. And I wanted to found out what had happened to my shoe, and secondly, I had wanted them to see what they could do about it. The outsource. So all I wanted to do actually was to speak to the shoe department in the particular department store, and that wasn't available. That wasn't available, and I got through to somebody at their customer service centre in South Africa, and the person on the other end of the phone said, "Well, why don't you just pop in and see?"
Yeah.
And obviously, if that had been an option, I would have done that.
Yes.
So that was quite frustrating. When I eventually, a week later, did go back into the physical store, I was met by somebody who was incredibly helpful, sorted it all out. So I think it's that personal touch is always really important, isn't it? And the frustration of either not being able to talk to a human, the companies who say the first option is talk to a human, gets my vote.
Same.
I've yet to find one that says press button A if you want to talk to a human.
Yes, it's usually speak to the chat bot.
Go to the website. I've done all that. If I'd wanted to do any of those things, but so our esteemed advice would be press button A, press button 1. Your first option is I'd like to speak to a human. You can then direct me as to which kind of human where. I have no problem with that, but just speak to a human first would be such an easy process, wouldn't it? From the customer's perspective, might be complicated for the process of the business.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing, isn't it? It's the customer's perspective. What does the customer want? And I think there are many people who would prefer the human contact approach in terms of customer service. So here I think my fear is that as time goes on, more and more of that will become AI rather than people. So not only do those people potentially lose their jobs, as customers, we're not, or some of us aren't actually getting what we want either. So it doesn't really, it seems like a lose-lose rather than a win-win.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
But there are still some fabulous, I've had many, I say when you get through to a human, they are amazing and give incredible support. So we'll shout out to all those hardworking customer experience people who are working with other humans to address some of the issues that happen in life.
Yes, absolutely. Right, well, that amazingly brings us to the end of our show. So thank you very much if you've been listening and or watching. Don't forget to subscribe on all the different platforms that we're on. We're on all the podcast platforms. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, soon to be on Instagram, aren't we, Jenny?
We are, yes.
Foray into Instagram as well. So watch this space for that one. But yes, if you've got any questions and comments, obviously we've asked you a few things today, like who would you like to see interviewed on the show? So please do let us know. You can contact us on all the social media platforms and let us know what you think, because we love to carry on that conversation, don't we?
We love a nice chat, don't we? And until next time, we will be back in 2 weeks.
We will.
Hopefully with an exciting guest.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
So hopefully with an exciting guest, and we will look forward to seeing you then. So until then, stay brilliant, stay inspiring, stay safe, stay warm.
Oh, and definitely dry. Stay warm and dry. Take care, folks. Bye.
Bye for now.